Hey guys, this is Arun,
And this is Abby.
and welcome back to a brand new episode of Fill Your Pockets. Today's episode, Thursday, September the 2nd. Um, Yesterday's plays, we had one play yesterday, a parlay. We had the Toronto Blue Jays and the San Francisco Giants. The Blue Jays took care of their job. They took care of the Orioles 5-4 and won that game. The Giants, they ended up losing their game 5-2. So our parlay did not hit because one of our legs didn't hit. But still, we're for the season, we're 27-20, looking good in the green, and we're looking to bounce back today and win some plays today. But Abhishek, thoughts on yesterday's plays? I know you were kind of bummed out that the Giants lost.
Of course, we're always bummed when we lose and when everyone else loses, whoever listens to us. But we do our best, and we will continue to do that. We don't take the L's that seriously because the next day is another opportunity, especially in baseball. We still have September. Football season has started, week 0 in college football. This is week 1. Week 1 has officially started, in my opinion, and we will have a college football play today. But
Mhm.
just to recap, as Arun mentioned, Blue Jays versus Orioles. Blue Jays, yeah, they won the game. To be honest, they shouldn't have been that close. This team is not playing to standards, in my opinion, but at the end of the day, they did win 5-4. They were down 2-1, and they scored 3 runs, made it 4-2, and the Orioles came back again, tied it up 4-4. And then the Blue Jays in the 8th inning scored that 1 run. Randall Grichuk hit the ball. I think it was what was it? It was a fly out. Third, Bichette went from third, scored, and they ended the inning 5-4, and they were to close it out. So they got a much needed win because the Blue Jays are still trying to fight for a playoff spot. So that was good for them, good for us. But then the Giants game started. They were down 2-0 to start off, and then they came back 2-2, tied it up. To be honest, pitching. The one thing in baseball is you can try to analyze data for pitching more than you can for hitting because it's easier because you never know how you're more likely to figure out how a pitcher will perform against people than a batter will perform against a pitcher because the pitchers keep changing. And that's exactly what happened yesterday when Milwaukee, Brent Anderson, I love the matchup. He pitched 2 innings and then he got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. And then the Milwaukee Brewers used their relievers. And to be honest, their relievers are some of the best in baseball. So they were able to use their relievers. And to be honest, I think that helped them because that's what the reason why the Giants were able to score again. If Brent Anderson had stayed in the game, I'm not making excuses. It's just facts. If he had stayed in the game, I think the Giants would have got to him faster. They would have scored more than 2 runs. But at the end of the day, it was 5-2. They lost. That's 4 straight L's for them. And it's getting dicey for the Giants because there's another team in Cali that's rising up, and this is the worst time for the Giants to fall. And we will get into that with our first game in a few seconds. But like we went over, Giants lost or probably did not hit 27-20, as Rune mentioned, 58%. It's been over a month now, so it's not a huge sample size, but for the first month period of us doing this, I think it's pretty damn solid.
All right, moving on. Let's move on to today's episode. We're going to be going over three games, two of them baseball, and one of them, like Abby said, will be a college football game. That'll be the last game we'll be going over, so stay tuned. But first game of the day, very early game, 3 o'clock, 3:45 Eastern Time game. We got the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Giants. The line for this game has moved since it opened up. Milwaukee opened up at plus 135 value. Now they're sitting at plus 155. San Francisco minus 155 value. Now they're sitting at 180. So, Abhishek, who you got for this first matchup, man? Milwaukee taking on San Francisco.
All right, so let's get into it. Milwaukee has won 4 straight. San Francisco has lost 4 straight. So the complete opposites. Milwaukee has taken the first 3 games of this series. San Francisco, it's not like they're getting blown out, but they're having a tough time scoring the past 4 games. We begin with Milwaukee. Eric Lauer, he's the pitcher, the lefty, 2.5 ERA his last 7 starts. Pretty damn good if you ask me. But when you really look into it, the numbers are kind of deceiving. In his last 10 starts, Eric Lauer, the pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers today, only one game that he's pitched in those 10 was against a team that had a winning record, and that was the Cincinnati Reds. And the Reds are a good team. They're an okay team. They're above average team. But they're not like a juggernaut or a great team, in my opinion. So that's the only game he pitched against, a team he pitched against that had a winning record out of his 10 starts. So that the reason why I say deceiving is because you can have great numbers, but you're really going up against poor competition. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, in my opinion. And another stat is his last 4 starts against winning teams, the Milwaukee Brewers have lost. So it just adds fuel to the fire that yes, he's doing a good job taking care of the poor competition, but is he elevating his play and keeping the same performance when he's going up against better competition? And that's what you want. And that's as of right now, from what we've seen, the numbers don't lie. That's not what's going on. Then we get to San Francisco here. Obviously, as I mentioned, 4 straight L's. This is the worst time for them to go down, go cold, because the Dodgers are coming. The Dodgers just swept the Braves. They won yesterday 3-4. Close game, as we went over yesterday. We thought it would be a very close game. Braves 1.5. Braves to even win the game was a possibility yesterday. We went over that. And it was 3-4, pretty damn close. And the results speak for themselves. But at the end of the day, the Dodgers won. They won 3 straight. They are now leading the division. And the Giants, for the first time since May 30th, are not leading the division. It's been June, July, and August. 3 months. It took the Giants 3 months to lose the lead, and it took the Dodgers 3 months to gain the lead. It's not a huge lead, obviously. It's half a game. So it's still nip and tuck. Nobody has separated themselves. But San Francisco, they need a sense of urgency now because you don't want to play in the wild card. I don't care if you're playing at home. One game, anything can happen. But now let's get into the San Francisco Giants today. Logan Webb, my favorite pitcher, I think you could call it probably, because I've praised him this whole time we've been doing this show. I love what he's doing. He's been dominant. He's coming out of nowhere. The Giants wouldn't be where they are without him. And I expect him to be the one that can stop the bleeding. Out of all the players on the Giants, he's the guy that you could point to and say, all right, take us home. We need a big game. We need you to provide it. He's allowed 2 runs or fewer in 13 straight starts. That is phenomenal. And in those 13 starts, the Giants are 12-1. So all the information, all the numbers, the reason why this line is going towards the Giants is probably because of one guy and one guy only, and that is Logan freaking Webb. Never thought we'd be talking about him this much, but he has become a household name. He may be the best pitcher in baseball right now. That is crazy to say, but the numbers don't lie. I'm not talking about future. I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about right now. He has been dominant. The Giants need to win this game. The final game of this series between the 2 teams. They have the pitching advantage. I expect him to score at least 4 or 5 runs. That's all they're probably going to need because Logan Webb has not given up more than 2 runs in 13 straight starts. So, Giants, all you got to do is score 3, maybe 4, and you should be able to hang on. So, the Giants are the clear and cut pick for this day. 3:45 p.m. game, as Arun mentioned, is an early game. So, we will have our picks out earlier on IG because the game starts at an earlier time.
All right, moving on to the second game of the slate. We got the Boston Red Sox taking on the Tampa Bay Rays, 7:10 Eastern Time game. Right now, the Rays are leading the season series 9-6. The line for this game, Tampa Bay will be the favorite, -165. Boston +145. The underdogs. Tampa Bay has been red hot, 9-1 in their last 10, and it looks like they're not going to slow down. But Abby, who you got for the second game, man? Red Sox taking on the Rays.
Our daily dose, Arun, of Red
Daily
Sox.
dose, yeah.
Daily
Especially
dose.
this
4
week.
straight days picking this game. We've been what? I think we've been 2-1 against them, picking them. Technically, we didn't give them out as our pick yesterday, but we did review the game, and the Red Sox did win. Chris Sale, he proved me wrong. I did think he was going up against bad competition, but he is a future Hall of Famer. He was lights out, and it was a close game, 3-2, but the Red Sox were able to salvage one game. Now let's get into today. Eduardo Rodriguez, a lefty for the Red Sox, versus Shane McClanahan, another name, just like Logan Webb. I've said this man's name many times. He's the young rookie, Tampa Bay's best pitcher right now, starting pitcher. I would say so if I had to say so. Let's get into it. Boston still dealing with COVID issues. They're struggling, but they were able to salvage the game yesterday because their ace was pitching. That's the thing. They only got one ace though. Chris Sale can't pitch every day, and that's the problem for the Red Sox. They broke their 3-game losing streak. Rodriguez, one thing about him is he has not won back-to-back starts in his last 7 starts. Last start he pitched was against the Indians. The Guardians, and he won. So obviously, it's not written in stone that he can't win this game. The track record says he plays well one game and then struggles happen the next. So we'll see about that today. Rodriguez, 3.7 ERA in his last 5 starts versus Tampa Bay. Not terrible, not fantastic, solid. So I think career number wise, he is basically a average to a little bit above average pitcher against this team. Now we get into Tampa Bay here. They had a 9-game winning streak. Obviously that streak broke yesterday when the Red Sox won. McCallahan, he's won his last 5 starts straight, and he has pitched against Boston one time this season. He's a rookie, obviously, so we don't have a great sample size of him against his team. He will have many battles with the Red Sox in the future, but it is his rookie season. So he's pitched against them once. It was at home, just like how it is today. He went 6 innings, gave up 1 run, and that's pretty damn good. And that was with the healthy Boston Red Sox team. Xander Bogaerts was there. Kiki Hernandez was there. The bullpen was there. Obviously, J.D. Martinez, Devers, Verdugo, they were all playing. Vasquez. So he went up against the whole lineup, 1 run, 6 innings, dominant. And I think if you were to pick this game, what are you going to go with? The proven guy or the guy who is shaky at best? Minus 160. A little bit of juice. Nothing crazy, though. So, but if we were going to pick this game, you got to pick the Rays. Yes, they lost yesterday, but think about it. It took a monumental effort from one of the best pitchers of this generation to stop this team. This team has been scoring 6+ runs on a regular basis. The Red Sox, they didn't get over COVID in one day. They were able to salvage the game yesterday. But if you're going to pick this game today, you got to lean towards the Tampa Bay Rays.
All right, moving on to the last play or the last game that we'll be going over for today's episode.
Our first college football game.
First college football game that we'll be going over. So it's a 7 o'clock Eastern time game. Boise State taking on Central Florida. 7 o'clock game on ESPN. Doesn't get any better than that. Start your college football day off right. But the odds, the lines for this game, Central Florida right now, minus 235 favorites. Boise State will be the underdogs in tonight's matchup, plus 190 odds. Abhishek, first college football game, man. Who you got, bro?
All right, so we got Boise State, UCF, University of Central Florida. Anyone that knows college football, these 2 teams are the marquee teams, or 2 of the marquee teams of the American. UCF, past 5-6 years, where they've been known for scoring. Boise State has been the team that's not been one of those big teams like Alabama, Oklahoma, Georgia, Ohio State, etc. They was able to make its name, but recently they have not been as good as they've been in the past. So we get into tonight. Obviously, it's week 1, primetime ESPN game, 7 p.m. Boise State, they got a new head coach, Andy. I don't want to say his name wrong, but Andy Voles. Sorry, my bad. Andy A. I'm going to call you Andy A. Sorry, coach, but that's what I'm going to call you. Can't say your name right, so I don't want to say it wrong. The Boise State last year, obviously COVID season, so not everyone played a full schedule. They went 5-2, which is a decent season for them. They're bringing back Hank Brockmeyer as their starting quarterback. He was supposed to be the quarterback last year. I think he got hurt, but he did play well when he did play. Their defense last year, obviously it's a new season, but since we don't have any information really going forward, you have to go by the past and try to make your best judgment now and what you expect to see going forward. Their defense was ranked 39th against the pass, 65th against the run, which is not good at all, especially that key number, 39th against the pass. That's something to remember here. Now, this is what I feel is the most important information regarding this game. Boise State, they lost their best corner. He graduated, Jalen Walker, and one of their other corners that was starting, he's also gone. So this secondary is sus. And that's the biggest weakness here for UCF to exploit. They pass the ball, they score. We're going to get into UCF in a second. But if you're supposed to look at this, if you're going to look at this game, Boise State, their defense is probably, their head coach is a defensive-minded coach, so he's going to try to obviously improve the defense that wasn't as good last year. But The defense is losing its best players in the secondary. Yes, you can replace them. College football people come in every year. They replenish talent yearly, but these are young players. The best players are gone. Can you really say it's going to be an upgrade? I don't think so, and that's why I feel that's the biggest weakness here. Now, can UCF exploit this weakness? Let's get into that. 6-4 last year. It wasn't a good year for them. That's not what you expect from UCF. This team has been going 10-1. 10-2, 11-1 that past couple of years. They were undefeated a couple of years ago. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, top 5 quarterback if you ask me. Dylan Gabriel, the lefty, he is fantastic. He's must-see TV for college football. He may be a first-round pick, probably second-round pick in the NFL draft, so he has a lot to play for this season. They have a new head coach. Obviously, people may know his name, Gus Malzahn, one of the most prominent names out there in college football. He was with Auburn for nearly a decade. I think a little bit less than a decade, but he was there. His team got to the national championship game against Jameis Winston in Florida State. Unfortunately for them, they lost that game, but he is a national championship level coach because he took Auburn to the championship game before. Unfortunately for him and his team, they lost, but he has that type of experience. So he's a new head coach for UCF. Last year, they were ranked 5th in the country in scoring, 44.2 points per game. So they are going to score. Their defense is not known for being the best, but in their defense, 9 starters on their defense are returning. Last year was a COVID season. That was for everyone. There were players that opted out. There were players that couldn't play because of COVID. So last year, it's very hard to take every piece of information seriously because there was so much shit going on last year, not just in football, but in the whole world. So, and then when we look at, this is the most amazing stat for me, UCF in the last 20 home games, they're 18-2, straight up. 18-2. This is the opening home game for UCF. That humidity, Boise State is cold most of the time. You're going to Florida in September. It's going to be hot out there in Orlando. 18-2 at home. That crowd, everyone's going to be there. Last year there was no fans. The whole fan base is there, the students, the alumni, etc. It's going to be rocking, primetime game. UCF is the play here. We will pick this game. We'll find a way to pick this game. Minus 210 was when I got it. And obviously, Arun mentioned it. Lines moving up to 235 is going bigger and bigger because I'm pretty sure people are looking at it and seeing why UCF should be the team that wins this game. But just like how the line is moving, we're picking this game as well, UCF. And I feel very good about starting off college football season. NFL's next week. Just know, college football. Baseball is coming down. It's not over yet. Baseball, we got one more month in playoffs, so baseball's not gone yet. NBA's coming up. I know Arun has a lot to say once NBA season rolls around.
Yes.
And you're going to get a lot more Arun. You're going to get to see Arun much better when NBA season rolls around. But until then, college football week 1 is officially here. We will preview Saturday's games tomorrow because Saturday has a lot of huge games. And then the next week, NFL is back, and we have a lot to go over.
All right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for today's episode. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and happy gambling.